just got a hold of these new pedals from a recent Sweetie sale, and I've got this guy whom I've been using for quite a while, and I want to change things up. So we know what that means. It is new Pedalboard day. Sigh. I don't really miss this mess too much, but you do what you gotta do. Alright, so build update. This is how I think I want to lay out my pedals. I'm gonna keep things a bit simpler because when I play live I don't want to muck around and accidentally press something that shouldn't be pressed, and because the Volto is not designed for high current digital output pedals, I decided that I will keep this off the board, probably put it back in my main board, and I will simply use this just purely as a lead guitar kind of pedal board. And I wanted to incorporate this guy here, the iRig Blueboard, which is going to be my Ableton controller. And I know it's only 4 buttons, but that's all I really use for Ableton. And the idea behind the LS2 here is that I wanted to switch between sending a mono to the Iconoclast and a mono out to, let's say, an amplifier or something. If I don't need the Iconoclast, I don't have to take it out of or unplug any cable. I just need to switch out here, and this will also act as a master mute. If I'm only using one output, let's say just to the front of house through the Iconoclast, I can use this to mute the pedal board if I need to. Alright, moment of truth. Do I have power? I do. Oh wait, I can't turn this on yet because there's nothing plugged in, but the rest of the pedals, oh wait, I can't turn this on either. This one can, this one can. Right. Alright, I got some more work to do. Okay, moment of truth part 2. Oh yeah. Alright. See, everything's up and running. Get tuner up. Yep, tuner is up. What delay. Specular reverb. Nice old drive. Yep. Hello and welcome. My name is Justin and I am a worship leader from Singapore. If this is your first time seeing my content, I am all about worship guitar. I do gear reviews, guitar tutorials, and I talk all things about worship ministry. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing to my content. It will really help me out. This video came about because I recently acquired a few pieces of gear from a recent Sweetie closing down sale. Now, the Sweetie Katong branch closed down, and before they closed down, they were going to let go of all their stock at amazing prices. And I managed to get a hold of 2 things that I wanted to try for a very long time: a Pedaltrain Volto 2 power supply and a Neunaber Iconoclast. Neunaber. Oh, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation. I can hear you ask me, don't you already have a Helix and a Ajax Stomp? Well, that's true, but there are times where I want to simplify my setup and only bring one pedal board that can rely on a 9-volt power supply. Even more so, I want to be able to run this pedal board completely wireless. I don't want to rely on the power from the stage. I want to be able to provide my own power, and in so doing, eliminate some of the electric noise that I normally have when I play in a live band. Now, the best thing that you can do for yourself if you're considering getting the Volto 2 is to have two primary considerations. Number one, do you have any high draw digital pedals? Pedals like the Line 6 M5 or the Strymon stuff, or any of the digital pedals that have an always on state. These are the kinds of pedals that don't do well with the Volto. The Volto is designed for analog 9-volt low current draw pedals. And I know that my board, as you will see later, is not really a small current draw board. It's actually a bit more of a medium to on the low end of high current draw. And that's because I got a few digital pedals on there, which I will talk about soon. Number two, do yourself a favor by estimating how long your Pedaltrain Volto will actually last. Since you know for sure that there are 2000 milliamp hours on the Pedaltrain Volto, you can very easily have an estimation of how long your battery will last just by summing up all the current draw from all your pedals, and then you just divide that. And I found that my current pedalboard configuration with the moderate current draw pedals on it, it is going to last me around 9 to 10 hours, and that's plenty for practice and gigging. And I should be able to get by with a weekend of both practice and playing live in church. However, if you do find that you have very little power left in your Pedaltrain Volto and you want to use the adapter that comes with it, you can very much do so. The adapter can be connected to the mains and plugged in and turned on at the same time. So there are a few features on this pedalboard build that I want to highlight. First and foremost is I have an iRig Blueboard on the bottom row, and this is deliberate because I control Ableton with my feet on the Sunday morning for my band. So not only am I music directing, but I'm also in control of how Ableton is patched into our system and how Ableton is sending tracks, and I can use the buttons to basically jump between sections of our Ableton set. Unfortunately, iRig is an iOS only, Mac only kind of application. So, I can't use this on my PC laptop, but I can use it with my MacBook Pro, no problems. You will also notice that I don't have any modulation pedals on this, and this is by design. If I'm going to have any special sound effects like a trem sound or like a filter or a harmonizer kind of sound, I'm going to pre-record those tracks and I'm going to have them play through Ableton. Whereas if I'm playing live, I want to be in control of a basic guitar sound, like a clean crunch and a lead. As always, I have a few cheap pedals in the front of my chain. I have the whole tone valve press, I have the whole tone comp, and I have the whole tone tuner, three of which have been a staple on my mini boards, and I do find that they are small, hardy, and they are cheap, and they are of good value. Next come my overdrive pedals, and I have the Duet of the Exotic SL Drive and the ZVEX Double Rock. Now, because the Iconoclast is functioning as a clean amp, I did find that I needed something to function as a preamp or something that will give me an amp-like texture. Now, this is how I set up my ZVEX Double Rock. I have one side of the Double Rock that is on a very mild kind of overdrive, and this is the kind of overdrive that if I were to play very lightly, it'll be clean, and if I dig in, I can get a bit of crunch. So the ZVEX Double Rock, one side of it is functioning as my preamp. I'm getting a bit of a Marshall vibe with it, so I'm pretty happy with the result. If I want to do a lead sound, I have two choices. I have the choice of stacking it with the other side of the ZVEX double rock. So I can have both sides engaged, which will give me a very thick kind of sound. I love my SL drive. It is what I call the Raise a Hallelujah pedal, and you're going to hear why this is so. If I wanted a bit more hair, but not so much volume, not much compression, I stack it with the SL drive. Next is a duet of the Clockwork delay and the Specular Reverb by GFI pedals, and I've had these pedals for a long time. I really love them. I think that these are the kind of pedals that I will always have on my board. I call them the Strymon on a budget because I can get shimmer textures, I can get octave reverb, I can get modulated reverb, I can get a very nice dotted 8 sound out of it, stuff that the worship guitar player needs. Then comes my Boss LS2, which I am using as an ABY box. Everything that you're hearing from this video is going to be the LS2 sending signal to the Neunaber Iconoclast. But if I wanted to, I can use the LS2 to send a signal instead out through the 1/4 inch jack on the side and then use that as a amp in. So I can use an analog amp if I don't want to use the Iconoclast. Alternatively, if I'm really crazy, I can use both at the same time, send a signal to an amp on stage and send a signal to the front of house using the Iconoclast. And that way I've got live amp monitoring on stage as well as sending a front of house signal that are discrete from one another. So I'm going to leave you with a pedalboard demo of like how my pedals sound like, some playing samples, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and as always, this is Justin signing off.